Hello everyone, it's Teacher Markee once again and welcome to another video lecture. Today's topic is about the different types of speech context and speech style. Today, we will learn about the types of speech context such as intrapersonal, interpersonal, public communication, and mass communication, and types of speech style, namely intimate, casual, consultative, formal, and frozen. Let's get started. Each of us spends our time differently. But did you know that typical studies suggest that about 70 to 80% of our time is spent in some form of communication? We spend most of our waking hours writing, reading, speaking, and listening. These days, we don't just communicate through face-to-face contact. We also spend a majority of our time interacting in various social media platforms. Therefore, it is essential for us to develop an understanding of how we can communicate more effectively. In order to do so, one must develop a deeper understanding of different strategies to be used in different speech contexts using various communicative styles. With the advancement of technology, we can connect to thousands of people wherever we are and in real time. Thus, communication is diverse in terms of the situations or environment we are in. This is where speech context comes in. It refers to the ways people use to communicate and transmit messages orally or verbally. In general, a speech context refers to the purpose of the speech. Why are you giving the speech, and who are you giving the speech to? For example, when asked to speak publicly, you need to know the occasion and the type of audience or listeners you're going to have in order to deliver the speech effectively. Speech context also refers to the environment where the communication happens and how the message is relayed during the process. By knowing the speech context of a conversation, we can easily understand the message and we can make feedback clearly and appropriately. There are four different types of speech context, namely intrapersonal, interpersonal, public communication, and mass communication. The first one is intrapersonal communication. This communication happens within oneself. This means that the speaker acts as the source and the receiver of the message. When you do self-reflection, you analyze your thoughts and feelings. By knowing what you feel, you can assess yourself on how to react on it. For example, when you are asked what degree program you want to pursue in college, you think of your interests and talents, and your strengths and weaknesses before answering. The next type of speech context is interpersonal communication. This communication involves two or more people. The conversation can be formal or informal, intimate or casual, depending on the relationship people involved have. There are two types of interpersonal communication: the dyad communication and small group communication. Dyad communication happens when two people are involved. For example, you talk to your friend in the locker room asking him to hang out after school. Or you talk to your mother that you need an illustration board for your activity tomorrow. When three but not more than 12 people are part of the conversation, it's called a small group communication. This type of communication is present during brainstorming or collaborating with other people. For example, your group is pitching ideas for the research title to be presented. Or your father told the whole family that the trip to Manila Zoo will not push through because it's under renovation. Another type of speech context is public communication. This refers to communication that requires a speaker to deliver or send an informative or persuasive message before or in front of a group. The channels are more exaggerated and it uses visuals, such as PowerPoint presentations. The voice is also louder and gestures are more expansive. For example, a valedictory speech or a political candidate telling their platform in a grand rally. The last type of speech context is mass communication. This refers to communication that takes place through television, radio, newspapers, magazines, books, billboards, internet, and other types of media. This type of communication reaches millions of people. For example, a weather forecaster informs the audiences about the location of the typhoon, or a student journalist writing his stand on current issues through the school's newspaper. The unique way in which the information is delivered to the audience is referred to as speech style. According to Martin Jews in 1976, it is a form of language that the speaker uses which is characterized by the degree of formality. Using a particular speech style helps get the message across in the most effective way. A speech context dictates and affects the way people communicate, eventually resulting to a various speech style. Once you have identified the context of the communicative situation, the next task is to choose which appropriate style to use. Generally speaking, there are 5 types of speech styles. Each type has a specific use depending on the situation. The first type is intimate speech style. This speech style is private. It usually occurs between or among close family members or intimate individuals. The language used in this style may not be shared in public. Examples include a couple talking about their future plans, a family sharing ideas, or very close friends sharing secrets. Another type of speech style is casual. This style is commonly used among peers and friends who have something to share or have shared background information but are not closely related. Jargon, slang, street language, gay lingo, or vulgar words are often used. Everyday conversations with friends, phone calls, and online or face to face chats are examples of this casual speech style. We also have consultative speech style. This is considered to be the standard speech style. The use of professional or mutually acceptable language is a must. Communication between teachers and students, employers and their employees, doctors and patients, judges and lawyers are good examples of consultative speech style. Another important type of speech style is formal. This speech style is always used in formal settings. It is one way and straightforward in nature. The speech is usually prepared beforehand and uses complex, well structured, logically sequenced, and strongly coherent sentences. Valedictory speeches, sermons by priests and ministers, the President's State of the Nation address, pronouncement of judges during court trials are great examples of formal speech style. And last, but certainly not least, is frozen speech style. It is a communicative style that is usually used during respectful events and ceremonies. This type of communication rarely or never changes. It is frozen in time and content. Pledge of allegiance to the national flag, preamble of the Constitution, and the Lord's Prayer are excellent examples of frozen speech style. Knowing the different types of speech styles is essential to successful communication. It would be highly inappropriate to use a language or vocabulary reserved for your significant other when speaking in the classroom. Therefore, your speech style should depend on who your audience is, what the topic is, and the purpose and location of the speech. Bear these things in mind in order to achieve success in every aspect and situation you may encounter.